Okay, we are going for the 2-for-1 combo tonight. Everyone's still sleeping, and I haven't done a legacy video for a while, so I'm gonna do a little catch up tonight. Starting with this one from, again, 3 years ago. It is going to be some pushing. So starting with dive bomber push-ups. This is almost like a yoga inspired sort of push-up variation. We're basically going from upward dog to downward dog, or vice versa. Generally you start in the downward dog position and then you kind of work down in an arch toward the upward dog. Using that bar as an obstacle just makes it force you to really dip down and get down close to the floor as possible, which makes it more difficult. The closer you get, the harder it is. This is a push-up variation with a very wide setup. They're called archer push-ups, which you can do both from your feet or from your knees. I recommend a very wide stance for that, just because it gives you a little bit more stability, especially because it's basically a one-arm assisted push-up going to the one side. So the bent arm is actually doing most of the work, while this extended arm is more like a support that's just giving you a tiny little bit of a push, but it's really not doing a whole lot of work. It's that bent arm that does most of the pushing. It's a fun variation, something to pull out at a party, I guess. This is a variation of just kind of a standard. You could do this, I think kettlebell is kind of the most important just because the way the weight is. You wouldn't be able to do this as well with a dumbbell. It's still possible depending on the size. But with the kettlebell, you can let this row extend down nice and deep into that pocket in between your legs. And then when you bring it up to the top, that's where you just hold steady, and then you're going to use your obliques to twist your body as much as possible. You almost want to like face the ceiling as much as you comfortably can, just to get that core twist and engagement. It's a nice little treat to add on top of just a simple kettlebell roll. I really like this. This is Parlor Tricks. It's Clover, which is a 4-exercise superset that you could do standing on the ground. The balance, the skateboard on the kettlebell, is just an enhanced element to add a little bit of a challenge skill-wise, not so much strength. It doesn't really, if anything, it takes away from some of the strength development because you can't directly drive the force the way it's supposed to go. But it does work a little bit more of your stabilizers, and there's also kind of the question of maybe it's developing some neural pathways that help your balance. But it looks cool and it's fun, so I did it, and here it is. You're welcome to try it, or just do it on the ground like a normal person. The next exercise, I think this is a superset, so we're going to be going from upright rows to handstand push-ups. Kind of a push-pull contrast there. The upright row, you just want to keep that bar as close to your body as possible, all the way up. You want to have your elbows up. You want to make sure you're not elbows down, and then also put your hands in a place on the bar where it's comfortable for your wrists. Sometimes that top position of the upright row can be a little bit uncomfortable for people's wrists, so try and find something that works for you. If it just doesn't work for you, use 2 individual weights because that lets you articulate the bar a little bit more. And then if that doesn't work at all, then maybe just find a different pulling exercise. You want to make sure you're taking care of your wrists, and if it's just uncomfortable, it might not be worth it. Here is a single leg bridge with a press on the contralateral side, so whatever foot is down, it's the opposite side that's doing the work, so that is across the body, therefore contralateral, that's what that means. This is a good stability movement, plus a little bit of upper body, so you're kind of getting some stability, you get some lower body with the bracing here, and then you get some upper body pressing. Again, if you did the bridge with 2 feet and you're more stable, you could probably push more weight, but then you wouldn't get all that activation from the knee up to the shoulder, all the little muscles that are required to hold this position adequately. And then you can see it's cut off a little bit, but my foot is fully extended straight, which makes it a little bit more difficult only because you're holding that leg up, so you're using some of your quads to just hold the weight of that, just to add a little bit more challenge to it. Again, You can simplify or you can complicate these things. As long as you're doing something safe and it feels like it's doing something effective, I say go for it. You're not dropping weights on your face. As long as you're not getting hurt, just have some fun with things, spice things up, make things more interesting. It can really bring a lot more liveliness and inspiration to your training. It'll make it feel more rewarding. So that's my tips for the night. I am going to go to bed now with everyone else. Have a good night.